People Energy Principles. 36. Reframes to shift how you think about people and business. Chapter 15. Work hard to make hard things more simple. Complicated is easy. Simple is hard. What? That doesn't sound right, but maybe it is. Consider the quote, "Pardon the length of my letter, as I didn't have the time to make it shorter." There's truth in that, isn't there? When I say simple, I'm not talking about simplistic, not watering something down so much that you lose the fidelity and context of the situation. There's a kind of simplicity that holds a lot of information. This simplicity points to meta patterns that are larger than the problems at hand. That's the simplicity you want to seek. Teasing it out is hard work, but boy, is it ever worth it? We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. Albert Einstein. Example is how we think about the role of a manager. Many managers were trained with the expectation that their job is to ensure high-quality, highly efficient operations, which it is. But not only that. More recently, managers have also been expected to learn coaching skills, empathy, and various techniques that seemingly reduce the efficiency of the operation. I frequently talk to leaders about how to help managers learn these skills and figure out when to empathize and when to hold the employee accountable. Gosh, it's gotten so complicated to navigate all of these competing priorities. How do we simplify this? One way is to reframe a manager's job as being accountable for boosting the performance of the collective team. Coaching, empathizing, and providing clear, constructive feedback all work together to maximize team performance. That's the point. A simpler way to think about it. Truth is ever to be found in the simplicity and not in the multiplicity and confusion of things. Isaac Newton. Simplification is explaining something complex in understandable words. If you must rely on abstruse vernacular and incoherent reasoning, you don't quite understand what you're trying to say. Don't do what I just did. Instead, use real people words. If the best you can do is string together a bunch of $20 words like abstruse and vernacular, you may only think you understand your point, but you don't yet. Keep working at it. If you can explain what you mean to a 6-year-old and they get it, then you are onto something. Here's an excerpt from a Sherlock Holmes story that illustrates two perspectives of one situation. One meaninglessly complex, and the other simple and directly on point. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson are on a camping trip. In the middle of the night, Holmes wakes up and gives Dr. Watson a nudge. "Watson," he says, "look up in the sky and tell me what you see." "I see millions of stars, Holmes," says Watson. "And what do you conclude from that, Watson?" Watson thinks for a moment. "Well," he says, "astronomically, it tells me that there are millions of galaxies and potentially billions of planets. Astrologically, I observe that Saturn is in Leo. Horologically, I deduce that the time is approximately 3:15. Meteorologically, I suspect that we will have a beautiful day tomorrow. Theologically, I see that God is all-powerful, and we are small and insignificant." What does it tell you, Holmes?" "Watson, you idiot. Someone has stolen our tent." Listen to the feedback from people telling you what's unclear about your explanation. Ask if you are making sense. Listen and take on what they tell you. It's hard work, this simplicity. That's been one of my mantras: focus and simplicity. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean, to make it simple. But it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. Steve Jobs. It may be comforting to know that some of the greatest minds who are quoted in this chapter have sought simplicity. It's hard. That's why when you work hard to make hard things more simple, you'll know it's worth the effort.